Okay, so this is a bit of an unplanned video. In fact, let me just fix this. That's better. So yes, I wasn't planning on making this video, but it came about through a weird set of circumstances. So a couple of weeks ago on my last video, I was showing you how you can use focus stacking in your photographs. If you don't know what that is, that's where you get everything in your photograph to be sharp in focus. And I'll link the video in the description if you're just interested in having a look at that. But in order to make that video, I thought that a good practical example of how to demonstrate that technique was to do a landscape shot. So ended up driving to the Blue Mountains and I took some landscape shots. They're nothing special. I'm not going to do anything with those shots. The idea wasn't to get a piece of artwork. It was just to show you how focus stacking worked. Anyway, I got back home, I'm editing the video, I'm editing the image, and I get an email from Adobe saying that there is a new version of Lightroom. And because I like to run the latest versions of all of my software, I upgraded, and as I was going through the release notes, I noticed that it was specifically aimed at landscape photography. Now that was surprising because normally when you get upgrades or updates from Adobe for Lightroom, typically what they are bug fixes, or maybe there are security fixes, or sometimes they will update new profiles for new cameras that have come out. But in this particular case, they were talking about new features specifically designed for landscape photography, which is what I was doing at that point in time. And so it really piqued my interest. I upgraded the version, and lo and behold, there was some new functionality. It wasn't just bug fixes. And these new functions are actually really, really good. And at that point, I thought I really need to make a video about this. And that's how this video came about. So rather than me explaining what those features are, let's jump onto the computer and I'll show you how they work. Okay, so here we are inside of Lightroom. And the first thing that I want to show you is the version, because you're going to have to be at this version at least in order for this to work. So you can see here I've got version 14.3, and this is Adobe Lightroom Classic, by the way. And my camera raw version is 17.3. You can see the rest of the information in there. I've also got a photograph here of a portrait, and I know that I'm talking about landscape photography, so why am I showing you a portrait? And the reason for that is that this feature relates to a feature that's already available for us when we're editing portraits. I just want to relate that back really quickly, and I'll show you what I mean. If I wanted to edit this photograph, what I would do is I would click on the masking button that you can see here. Once I click on that, you can see that down at the bottom it's detecting the people in the photograph, and if I click on it, it'll analyze the image, and then it'll give me a bunch of different masks that I can create for that photograph. So for example, if I wanted to say grab just the face and the body skin and then say the clothes, I can click on these three. I can create the masks by clicking on this button, and then it creates individual masks for those things. So if I wanted to just say bring up the exposure on the clothes, I could just do that by just selecting that mask. This has been a really good thing to introduce into Lightroom, because normally when you're doing this level of editing for portraits, you have to go into Photoshop. What they've done is they've taken this feature and they've taken it to the next level and included landscape photography. Let me show you what I mean. I've got a picture here that I took of Windsor Castle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the develop module, and I'm just going to reset this photograph to make sure that there's no edits. And then I'm also going to click once again on the masking button again. So if I click on it, now it's looking down here, it says no people found. But what you may have missed is that there is now an option here called landscape. And if I click on this, it will analyze the scene to see what it can see in the photograph. Okay, so it's trying to detect elements in the photograph. And as you can see here, it's detected 4 things: the sky, architecture, vegetation, and then natural ground. Now this works exactly the same way as it did for portraits. So we're going to click on all of these. Okay, we're going to then create the masks, and you can see up here now, you've got a mask for each individual element that we just saw. So for example, if I wanted to just edit the sky, I can click on the sky, and then if I bring up the exposure or down, you'll see that it only affects the sky. Okay, now this is really, really useful, because this level of selection would have to be normally done in Photoshop. You couldn't really do it in here if you were serious about editing a photograph. That just the selection capability of Lightroom, the tools available to you, really weren't that precise. So it's great that they're doing this for you now. And I also like that Adobe is taking this path for AI to help us do some of the logistical work behind helping us to create the edit. So instead of doing funny things and, you know, inserting components from stock, like, you know, by adding a tiger onto this scene or whatever, I'm not interested in any of that stuff. What I want to do is I want to do my own edits, and I want the software to help me, and this helps me. So let's go and click the architecture, and now we can just bring up and down the exposure, say, of the castle. Okay. And you can do all sorts of things. So again, vegetation, I just want to point this out, how accurate this is. So if I bring this up and then, you can see it's only affecting the trees. I know it sounds really simple, but this is very difficult to do, and it's doing it very, very well. Let's pick another one, because I want to show you how this adapts from one photo to another. So we are going to click on this photo. Once again, we are going to click on the landscape option. We're going to see what it can see, or what it can detect. And as you can see now, it's got sky, architecture, vegetation, and natural grounds. So let's do the vegetation, because I just want to edit that. So let's do the create mask on that, and you will notice that it's actually created, like it can actually detect the vegetation on the castle itself. This is a castle, I believe, in Wales. I don't remember what it's called, so if you know what this castle is called, please let me know in the comments. But you can see how accurate it is. You look at this. I'm just going up and down with the exposure slider, and you can see that even the vegetation on the castle walls, it's been affected. So that works really, really well. Now I've got the same castle, but from a different angle, where it's detecting some water. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to click on landscape, and it should detect everything that it did before, plus the water. So let's see what it does. And as you can see now, we've got the sky, the architecture, the vegetation, the water, and then also natural ground. So this covers pretty much just the ground itself as in general. And also the water, you can see in here. So it adapts to what it can see. So this is a really, really massive step for Lightroom to be able to edit your photographs really, really precisely. Now, what I also like about this is that if I edit, say, this photograph to the way that I like it, using these masks that we've just gone through, if I've got more photographs, what I can do is I can apply those. I can synchronize the photos, the edits of the photos across all my other photos of this particular castle. So it will go in there, and if it's got water, it will make any changes that I made to the water or to the castle or to the vegetation, etc. So I think this is a really, really good way to get really precise edits on your photographs. And I'm really happy that Adobe is going in this direction to give us the tools to try and help us do the edits as we want to do them. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please don't forget to give the video a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. If you have any questions about anything that I covered here today, you can leave it in the comment section below, of course, or you can reach me through any of the usual social media platforms. You're going to find all the links to those in the description of this video. But that's everything that I've got for you this week. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.